Next, we're going to hear a testimony from Philip Shubin about living with HIV and long COVID. The reason why Philip went ahead and pre-recorded his statement, it's because of the unpredictable severity of his symptoms. He is with us and he will be with us for the Q&A. But in the meantime, we're going to present a video where he's wearing glasses with a gray background, and he's wearing also a gray sweater.
Hi, my name is Philip, and I'm a survivor of two pandemics, HIV and COVID. I was infected with HIV in 1983. I went on to develop full-blown AIDS 10 years later. Then, in March of 2020, I was infected with COVID. Subsequently, I developed long COVID, and I've been sick for the last 2 years. In both situations, I was infected very early, before there was any conclusive evidence of what was happening and how the viruses were spreading. I'd like to talk about how I see the two pandemics intersecting in my life. In 1996, I was hospitalized with pulmonary Kaposi sarcoma, an AIDS-related lung cancer. The care I received in the hospital was so inhumane that I checked myself out against doctor's orders. I went home expecting to die. Fortunately, the triple cocktail of antiviral medication was released at the same time, and it saved my life. But everyone that had had Kaposi sarcoma in their lungs before me died. I was the first in the generation of survivors, but my entire social circle had already died. A friend of mine got COVID and passed away just weeks before the vaccines were released. This loss compounded my already existing trauma. I was tormented once again with the memories of the friends that had died of AIDS before the antiviral drugs were released. In March of 2020, I was infected with COVID. I had already lost my right lung to Kaposi sarcoma. Now my left lung was inflamed and I was gasping for air. At the emergency room, I was once again treated like I had leprosy. I was turned away because there were no beds, and again I went home expecting to die. In the last 2 years, I have seen dozens of doctors. I have been accepted into the post-COVID programs at both NYU and Mount Sinai. Everyone has been very compassionate, but no one has offered any recommendations for treatment other than physical therapy. And physical therapy may be doing me more harm than good. The doctors don't seem to understand that when I exert myself physically, I suffer from post-exertional malaise. It's as if my battery is suddenly empty and it needs to be recharged, and that recharging could take 48 hours. I've been diagnosed with dysautonomia, a dysfunction of the automatic nervous system. In simple terms, my brain is not sending the proper signals to the organs in my body. The normal in and out of my breathing is irregular. My heart rate is erratic. I have migraines, urine retention, swelling in my feet, pain in my upper back and neck. I am extremely lightheaded and dizzy, often with vertigo. I have tremors and muscle spasms. My sleep is segmented. My digestion is either too fast or too slow. I have been in bed with the curtains drawn for 6 months. I only leave my apartment when absolutely necessary. All of my doctors keep referring to my original case of COVID as mild because I was not put on a ventilator and my original symptoms only lasted 1 week. This terminology needs to change. When someone is sick for 2 years, There is nothing mild about the condition. I don't want to die, but I can't call this living. 2 years ago, I was doing laps around Central Park. Today, I can't walk up a flight of steps without feeling faint. I live between my chair and my bed. When I stand up, I feel as if I'm falling down. The tremors in my hands betray the buttons on my shirt. The food on my fork often does not make it to my mouth. I don't recognize my own signature. The letters seem to be falling down. In addition to dysautonomia, I have been diagnosed with ME/CFS, myalgic encephalitis, chronic fatigue syndrome. I'm relieved to have the diagnosis, but frustrated that after 35 years of research, the medical society still knows nearly nothing about the disease. During the AIDS pandemic, I took to the streets with ACT UP to demand funding for AIDS research. I learned that a voice is a powerful tool. It can change the way people think and act. Today, I find myself in a similar position with long COVID and ME/CFS. I am fatigued and lightheaded and dizzy, but I have access to some of the leading medical authorities in the country, and I am compelled to fight for respect, research, and funding every time I meet with my doctors.
Thank you, Philip. That was very powerful.